We are ready.
Okay, what time?
9:07.
Okay, starting the meeting at 9:07. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Oswego County Industrial Development Agency meeting of July 28th, 2022. And before we begin, I'd like to have Kevin LaMontagne, our CFO, introduce the guests and the people on the phone that are calling in. And then I'm going to have Len Schick, our recording secretary treasurer, do a roll call of board members to ensure we have a quorum.
Sure.
So Kevin?
Yep. On the phone with us here today, we have our general counsel, Kevin Caracoli, and board member, Morris Sorbello. And we have folks representing two of the projects on our agenda with number 5, Williamstown PV. We have Genevieve Trigg and, with Williamstown PV, we have Ivo Tomchev and Camille Warner. And with NYUSLE SR 104, we have Genevieve Trigg. And that's everyone on the phone, Gary.
Okay, thanks, Kevin. And Len, can you do a quick roll call to ensure we have the quorum, please?
Sure. Gary Toth,
Present?
Morris Sabello,
Present.
Tim Stahl,
Present.
Barry Trimble is excused. Len Schick is here. Nick Canale,
Present.
Mark Greco. 5 members attending.
Okay, so we have a quorum. Thanks, Len. Okay, so we'll get right down to the meeting. First item on our agenda is the minutes of July 23rd, 2022. And I'm sure everybody got them in their portal, I hope. If you didn't, let us know so we can make sure you do. But do I have a motion on the minutes?
I'll move.
A motion by Nick Canale on the minutes. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Tim Stahl. We have a motion and a second on the minutes of July 23rd, 2022. Any additions, errors, or corrections? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Carried. Okay, the notice of the meeting was in the Palladium Times on July 16th, 2022. Now we have 2 treasurers' reports we have to act on.
Put them together.
We can do them together probably, yeah, you're right, thanks Lynn. We have the treasurer's report of March 2022 and April 22. And again, these were in the portal that was sent to all members of the board. Do I have a motion on accepting the treasurer's report as written?
I'll move it.
A motion by Len Schick. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Tim Stahl.
Second.
No, Tim Stahl seconded, Morris. So we have a motion and a second. Is there any questions or comments on the treasurer's report? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, number 4, IDA member resignations. Michael?
Well, we have a letter from member Sorbello, dated June 29th. I can read the letter if you wish.
It's up to Len.
Pardon?
So it's up to Len if you want the letter read.
That's Morris's.
Oh, Morrison, I'm sorry, okay.
Well,
It's yours on the back.
you're not on this list. Okay.
It's up to Morris, so you can.
Well, it's Marsh. You want me to read the letter?
Well, go right ahead. I have certain comments, of course, but
Okay.
I just want to know that my reason for basically I've been moving and stuff like that, but I just feel like I can't be there a lot of the time, and but I love this job. I love this organization, Operation Oswego County, and all the members that have taken place along with my board members. It's one of the greatest things in my life. I still would stay on, but I put that letter in only because I felt that maybe I should not be in there. Not that I think it makes any difference, but at the same time, I'll let the board decide. But I think that's why I put the letter in. We've been talking about upgrading some of our board members, leaving and so on. I love the Operation Oswego County, all the members of Operation Oswego County, of course, all my board members, and of course, the entire county of Oswego.
I think you're a little more detailed than your letter was, okay, Morris. But basically, the letter stated for over 25 years, I've enjoyed the wonderful members, staff, and work of Operation Oswego County. It is time for me to offer, with sadness, my resignation from the Oswego IDA board effectively immediately. It was dated June 29th, and we received it on July 1.
Morris, this is Gary, and you are gonna be missed. You're an asset to this board. You're a great advocate for everything we're doing. You're making me feel old now because I think I come on just before you did. So, you know, you're sorely gonna be missed, and we appreciate everything you've done to support this board and the programs that we've instilled.
Well, I can only say that, you know, in my process of being on the legislature, of course, and IDA board and all that, one of my favorites was, of course, this board here. And of course, as I ventured into the, you know, the County of Oswego legislature and what I did, and all I did, working with Mike and your staff and all of you, was many challenges, as you all know. It's always about budgets and everything else. And I have the highest praise for all of you, everyone in this Operation Oswego County, and I know how difficult many times Mike can attest to how tough it is when we get the budgets and stuff, but I've always hoped that I was able to be instrumental in keeping the board in Operation Oswego County, because I think they're the finest, and that comes from with experience in a lot of around the Central New York area and many committees I served in Central New York. I still think we have one of the finest.
Thank you, Morris. We appreciate that.
If I could.
Hey, Gary, this is Kevin. Can I jump in for just a second?
By all means, Kevin.
Thank you. And this is really more a matter of procedure. I mean, on a personal note, we're going to miss you. I'm going to miss you personally, Morris. I think you and I go back quite a ways, and look forward to our time and meetings together. So I'm personally, thank you for all your service. I would ask, from a procedural perspective, that we defer your resignation for a couple of hours to get through this meeting. Because I think if I'm keeping the tally correct, there's currently five board members participating out of the 7-member board. We have 4 members constitute a quorum, so we would be razor thin unless, so I just, from a procedural perspective, if your resignation could take effect immediately after this meeting, then that makes me a little more comfortable.
Well, I was thinking the same thing. Can we do it effective at the end of the meeting? The resolution effective at the end of the meeting?
Yeah, I mean,
That's
Morris's letter says effective immediately, but that can be, it can be effective, after the meeting.
Yeah.
Kevin, again,
That's all. I just wanted to make sure that.
do we have to do anything to accept the letter, or is it just,
We need a motion.
do we need a motion to accept it, I guess?
Yeah, I would accept a motion, but make it particular that it's accepted to be effective at the conclusion of this meeting.
Right, yeah.
I'm gonna do it in
Or
the
make the motion at the end of the meeting.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking, a motion at the end.
Yeah, you do it under other business, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, Gary, would you mind if I?
no,
I just, if I could, as a matter of public record, I'd like to add that, speaking on behalf of not just myself, but on the legislature's behalf and as an IDA board member, Morris, I want to thank you for all you've tirelessly given to this organization, to the county, as a past chairman of the legislator, chairman of the Economic Development Planning Committee. You have fought tirelessly, and I am just so thankful. When I first came on years ago, you took me under your wing, and you were such a huge help to me, and I know this board will miss you greatly. I also know that you have all of our cell phone numbers, and I expect you to use it, so you're not disappearing, that's for sure. But I really do appreciate all you've given, and again, all you've taught me. So thank you.
Well, thanks, Jim. I appreciate it so much. As I say, it's one of the most enjoyable places that I've had to actually be involved with is Operation Oswego County and this board of IDA people. Because we did accomplish a lot. I was able to be around Central New York on various other committees. And as I said, we're one of the, you are one of the finest groups that I've been involved with. As you get involved with regional areas and other areas, and now I'm down here in Florida, we rented a place, and it's time for my wife and I probably to do a little, this bum life, I guess. and that's, I just appreciate this board and everybody involved. It's just been wonderful.
Well, we thank you for your, like Kevin said, we thank you for your service. You will be missed, and Morris, stay in touch. I mean,
I certainly will.
you know, definitely.
I took Karen and everybody down there now. If I have an opportunity, I stopped in early. I was up there for 3 weeks. Well, after I left the office, and about 3 days later, I had the COVID, and and that took care of everything, and I had round trip tickets, and so I came back here in about 2.5 weeks. But it was great to be up there and do that, and my wife and I are still, we're still involved around the area. We're here for until the first of the year because we rented a place just to do something here and get familiar with the area. It is a great area. The villages have a great group of people involved. Some of the people are residential ties to Central New York. I've enjoyed, and I belong to their Central New York club, so to speak. And it's given me a lot of, effort here. But like anything else, I certainly will miss all of you.
Well, thank you, Morris. And again, we will bring this up at the end of the meeting. So, anybody else have any comments or for Morris?
Morris, we're gonna order one less muffin for a while, okay?
I offered to eat it for us.
I miss it already.
I guess I'm gonna have to get everybody's coffee now. We're gonna miss you, Morris, for sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say, that I want to ditto everything that's been said, Morris. You've been really great in all the efforts and the time you put in for this community and county. So we really definitely appreciate it.
Well, thanks, Len. And as I say, it's just been a wonderful experience. And I'm glad I'm down here where you can't see me. I really feel bad about it. And I just want to know that if need be, I'm willing to help in any way I can, continuously. It's not that I'm on the phone and I can go and come. We're going to be up there. I'm planning on being up there the first of the year. We leased a place for approximately this period of time. And that's why I'm down here again. When I was up there, I had COVID. And, of course, I went through my wife and everybody. It was a mess. I couldn't get out and go anywhere to do anything to speak of. I wanted to have lunch with Mike and everything else, but I just couldn't get to it because of it.
Well,
Thank you again.
No, Morris, you're always, looking forward to seeing you when you come up, and you're always welcome.
Thank you very much, Gary.
So, okay, again, thank you, Morris. Now we're going down to, Morris, have you got an agenda to follow?
No, what happened is I have a computer here on top and a portable unit, and for whatever reason I'm not connected on the agenda.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I just got.
No, that's all right. I didn't know if you could, you saw what we were leading to. Next, we're gonna, on the agenda is number 5. It's Williamstown PV LLC. It's a solar project. And I guess I'll turn that over to Kevin Lamontagne.
Thanks, Gary. Yeah, I'll start that off, and we have, as mentioned in the beginning, we have 2 guests representing that project, Ivo and Camille, on the phone with us today. But I'll just give a quick overview as I typically do, and then ask the folks from Williamstown PV to give an update on the project, kind of where they are in the timeline, and answer any questions we have. So this is a new solar application, much like others we've worked on. The developer's RIC Development, which is the same developer for information that developed Mexico PV that we recently worked on. Gary's familiar with. It's a 2.7 megawatt AC solar farm, so on the smaller scale, some we've approved. It's in Williamstown, of course, based on the name. It's the location is on County Route 30. It's generally speaking northwest of the Omega Wire building, but just in that northwest quadrant, not far from downtown Williamstown. APW School District. It's a 21.6 acre, more or less, acreage of the project, and it's on a parcel of tilled land, farmland of 147.5 acres. So as typical, the solar developer would lease the 21.6 acres, and based on that property description when we close, Kevin Caracoli, our general counsel, will work with the assessor to make sure that only the land used for the solar farm is exempted. So just like we've done a number of times before. So it's moving right along on our
Kevin,
end.
what was the size of the project again?
2.7 megawatts.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And they've applied under our standard solar policy, as we have with $5,000 per megawatt, a 20-year arrangement with a 2% escalator. And there is an open matter that we need to work on, and Kevin C., I think you'll be involved in this, is to make sure that we have the proper decommissioning plan and or bond in place with Williamstown PV. And one of the unique things here for us is that we will be acting as lead agencies, so there is no planning board process in the town of Williamstown. And the town has signed off on that, that the only thing required is a building permit on a nice sort of form that the solar company has provided to me. So I think I'll ask Ivo and Camille to give whichever one is best for it, give an update on kind of where you are with the project, what your timeline looks like going forward, and anything else you'd like to share.
Yes, thank you, Kevin. This is Ivo Tomczyk here. I'm the project development director with RIC, the company that's developing the project. So yes, overall, the phase we're in right now, we have a completed interconnection study, and we've already made the initial deposit as well for interconnection. As you mentioned, the town doesn't have zoning requirements or land use requirements, which they've signed off for to confirm. So we don't have any process with them pending. Basically, we're going through the final surveys right now, which should be completed in the next 30 days or so. And yeah, the two key items that are left for us to cover, or actually three items there: the secret process, obtaining the pilot approval, and also as soon as we have the secret negative declaration, hopefully, we should apply for the nice service incentives as well. And our internal goal right now is to basically close on financing the project by the end of October or so. So yeah, this is more or less where we are. If you have any specific questions, I'm happy to answer.
Ivo, this is Kevin LaMontagne. When do you think you'll have shovels? When will this be built? Will you start this fall, or?
Yeah. No, the project, the earliest is next spring.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on how quickly the building permit is put, and also procurement is a big question mark, to be honest.
So I understand. Okay.
So in any case, it will be probably next summer.
Okay. Thank you.
Ivo, hi, this is Gary Toth. It's good talking to you again. What is the actual size of the footprint of the 2.7 megawatt solar farm?
So the project is 2.7 megawatts AC and almost 3.6 megawatt DC capacity, which is approximately 5,400 modules. The total footprint, which is the limit of disturbance, is 21.6 acres. So basically, this would be the area that's going to be fenced. So yeah, this is the total footprint of the project.
Okay, and that the only property you're leasing is the 21.6 acres?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
So today, the idea is two resolutions to approve. One is the initial resolution, which is a typical resolution for a straight lease transaction authorizing public hearing. And also the lead agency resolution, which Kevin will work on. And Kevin, do you want to say anything about that process to the board or to the company reps?
Sure, I'll jump in for a minute. And Evo, in terms of the involved agencies, any agency that you're required to obtain any type of approval, permitting, or general review, like NYSERDA, who have you identified? And I apologize, I don't have your application right in front of me, but who have you identified as potential involved agencies for this project?
Yeah, so the agencies we've involved, as you mentioned, NYSERDA, also the DEC is listed here for two reasons. One is the speedy permit, and also the Western jurisdictional determination, and also the last agency is the Army Corps of Engineers on federal level.
Okay.
Evo, have you,
And
are you
then on
gonna
the, sorry.
I'm sorry, Kevin, I just was curious, were you gonna be contacting SHPO too?
Yeah, sorry, I skipped that. You're correct, yeah.
Yeah, and then on the local front, the county of Oswego will be part of the review process, given the proximity to, I think it's State Route 104, right?
13, well, it's State Route 13.
13.
13.
Yeah. So that, yeah, and then of course the town of Williamstown building permit. So what we'll do, this is for the benefit of the board and the applicant. Immediately after today, we will prepare the notice of lead agency notification, and we'll send it out electronically to each of these involved agencies. That's going to start the clock ticking for the seeker review that the IDA will ultimately undertake. We'll accept comments from any of those involved agencies. And candidly, many of them do not respond, but we have to show that we've put them on notice of the project. And then we can go ahead and concurrently hold a public hearing if the project is authorized today, the initial resolution, not authorized, but the initial resolution is adopted. We would then move towards scheduling a public hearing for the pilot benefits, but concurrent with that, we would send out the notice and go through the seeker review. Ultimately, just like we do at any other project, and there's the next one down is a perfect example. We never do a final approval without first reviewing and making a declaration of the environmental impact of the project. So that this will all work out well. We're not under a huge time frame given the project target date, but obviously we'll move this along as quickly as we can.
Regarding timing, Kevin, this is Kevin L. The Williamstown PV has requested that we move kind of time is of the essence for them because of some NYSERDA incentives. So my plan is to hold the public hearing before the August meeting and then go to approving resolutions in August. But you and I can detail that out offline if needed.
Yeah, we do have to allow for time. So we'll just have to be mindful when we're setting the next date for our meeting.
For the August meeting.
We have to be mindful of, yeah.
Okay.
Yep, it'll have to be a late meeting or later in the month.
Yeah.
What is that time
Give us
frame?
enough time to get the notices up.
Kevin, what is that
Well,
time
typically
frame?
30 days.
30 days?
30 days, yeah. Which, runs us right into the end of August and the end of, the beginning, the Labor Day weekend in September. So it's, there's a bit of a challenge there, but we do have to at least, and now alternatively, if we can get the consent of all of the involved agencies ahead of time, and we can work on that. But if they all consent and sign off to it, we can speed up that process. But we'll have to find the right people to do that in each of those agencies. So.
In the notice, do we formally request consent as early as possible?
We do. There's a provision right at the end where the involved agency can sign off on acknowledging receipt and consenting to the lead agency process, and then we can go through with our review. Now, and this I guess is a question to Evo. If you have these agencies already weighing in on the project and commenting that there's no impact or no further action, sometimes they'll issue a letter to that effect. SHPO is pretty good about doing that. They'll say that we've reviewed it and no further action is needed on our part. If you have documentation to that effect, that'll be very helpful to the agency and speeding this process up.
Yep, sure. I don't think we have the SHPO sign off yet, so we can provide that. Otherwise, let me reconvene within my team after the call, and we'll follow up and send you any formal approvals or correspondence we have with any of these agencies.
Yeah, and the ones I have so far, Evo, seem to deal with endangered species, which are only.
Yes, I think we have the IPAC report from the Fish and Wildlife Service.
Yeah, and the state.
Just the ERN from the ERN report from the
Yes, those I have in my hands right now. Anything else?
Thank you, Eva. Does any other board members have any questions on this?
We are a lead agency because.
Oh, sure. Let's back up on that. Because the town of Williamstown, the only requirement they have is a building permit. They have no planning board and no seeker review process. And they've provided documentation stating that the only requirement is building permit. But we require seeker, essentially.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so this is not what we've ever done before, right?
We've done it with some
Jason,
lending.
yeah.
We've certainly never done it with a solar project,
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm talking about.
we
Yeah,
may have
with
done it with some
solar.
other straight lease. We've done it with some lending, some USDA larger
Okay,
loans. Yeah.
So I mean, we are solely responsible to require the things that we usually require the towns. So, like for example, decommissioning plan. Is that something that we have a template that we're going to require based on previous other towns? I know obviously
Kevin has a fair amount of experience working. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to speak for you, Kevin,
Yeah,
but
Tim.
yeah.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
No, that's fine. Tim, NYSERDA has a formula that they utilize, and we'll work with Evo and his team to come up with the appropriate decommissioning bond. And it's a little unusual lend because, but the town, as Kevin Ellis said, it just doesn't have any approval process other than a building permit. And typically a building permit does not require seeker approval, but of course we do because we're conferring benefits. So that's why otherwise, you got to defer to somebody like the DEC, or I don't even know if NYSERDA gets involved in that, and that would take, you would not make the August or early September window that the company is looking for if we defer to the DEC.
It just sounds, it sounds like it's a lot more work for us, for our people.
I think.
Well, there's some extra steps for sure, but it's, in the grand scheme of things, it's not, it's not that much more. It's just we're it. I mean, we're not the planning board, right? So we're not necessarily commenting on the site plan itself. We're looking at and making sure that the project is, is represented. What's represented in the application is actually going to happen. and that the environmental impacts on the property itself are either mitigated or don't exist, and ultimately, you know, and I have high confidence that we will get to a point where we can issue a negative declaration that there's no negative impact on the environment for this project. But yeah, typically that's done by a planning board or some type of a zoning board or a town board. But in this unique circumstance in the town of Williamstown, I used to represent them years ago, so I'm aware they're not they're not prepared to do something like that. So it really does fall on the agency to do it. But we'll get there. We'll get through it.
Lynn, and typically when there's a seeker involved in any project, the seeker component of the application is typically reviewed by legal counsel with Barclay Damon that specializes in this aspect
There's special
of the
environmental
process.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which they would be involved with this too.
Right.
Yeah, reviewing the part one that the company has completed and
Yeah.
so on.
Well, I'm just wondering about, responsibility and fallback would come on the agency, because, I mean, if there's no planning board and no zoning board, who's going to review the site plan and everything? And then if it's not done right and something's wrong, is it going to come back on the agency?
May I chime in? This is Steve Thompson here. Sure. Yeah, I believe in this case, as it's confirmed in the letter we obtained from the town of Williamstown, it's basically a building permit that we need to construct the project. So this would be the final review before construction starts to confirm that the project as designed is compliant with all local, state, federal requirements and codes.
Okay, I mean, you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah, but I think the building permit's gonna cover
Yeah.
any of that kind of stuff,
Okay.
Len, and all we're gonna be declaring is whether they're gonna have an environmental impact or not. Or historical
We're just-
ship or whatever.
Yeah, we're just gonna notify all lead agencies and
That's fine, I just
get
wanted
their concurrence.
okay.
Len, these are also, if I could just add one point to this, these are obviously highly, very expensive projects to undertake. Notwithstanding the fact that the town doesn't have any specific, planning or zoning or site plan requirements, I mean, the company is going to build it in accordance with the industry standards and what NYSERDA expects each of the solar farms, to look like. So you probably won't be able to distinguish that this solar farm is in a community that does not have zoning or site plan, because it's going to be set up, appropriately. Now, we don't have oversight directly in that process, but through the seeker process, we'll be able to ensure that from an environmental perspective, where the project is sited is not going to have a negative impact on the environment. So that's really what the agency's role is. In terms of liability, it's minimal. There's typically non-recourse language that the agency doesn't expose itself to liability. I mean, if we didn't do anything in terms of seeker, that could be a potential problem. If there are environmental impacts, that would necessitate some type of mitigation, we have an obligation to point those out. But from my initial review of the application, I don't see that this is going to raise any issues, and with the number of involved agencies participating in this, I have a high degree of confidence that the project will move forward with a negative declaration.
Okay.
Any other questions for Ivo or Camille, or comments regarding this project? Okay, so I guess we'll entertain the two resolutions. First is the initial resolution for Watertown PV Solar, Williamstown, sorry.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion by Nick Canale, do I have a second? Second by Len Schitt. Is there any other questions or discussions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Carried. Okay, lead agency resolution. Do I have a motion to allow us to be the lead agency on this project?
I'll make it.
Motion by Nick Canali. Do I have a second?
Second.
Morris seconds it.
Morris, second by Morris Savello. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Yeah, no,
Those
that time I was gonna say, you went too fast.
Yeah. All those opposed? Okay, the motion is carried. Evo, Camille, thank you very much, and you're welcome to stay on the line if you so choose, or if not, we're looking forward to talking to you maybe at our next meeting.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Thanks, Paul.
Okay,
All right, so
number 5.
sounds like those two dropped the line. So Genevieve, you're still on with us, hanging in there, I suspect.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Thank you for your patience. So the next thing on the agenda is number 6, which is USLE Oswego SR 104 LLC. You have a cost-benefit analysis in your pack for this, and we approved the initial resolution at the last meeting in June. And since then, one of the key items we've accomplished is, in addition to getting resolutions ready, we've held a public hearing, which was yesterday. Genevieve and I were the only two in attendance at the public hearing. There were no comments. That was properly noticed, and we have our typical slate of approving resolutions in front of us. You can see it, this a sort of refresher from the last meeting. This is a 5 megawatt array on a roughly 32 acre site in the town of town of New Haven, on Long State Route 104. It's actually 2 parcels, and the solar farm will be on these 2 parcels with the same owner. And it's similarly, we would only exempt the acreage that's basically inside the fence based on the property description prepared by a surveyor. And they have requested a pilot under our standard policy, as well as a sales tax exemption, which you can see detailed at the bottom there.
Kevin, is there a time frame for construction on this project that we know of?
Genevieve, maybe I could bounce that question to you. It's not clear in my head, I don't think.
Yes, the applicant is otherwise ready to go, other than just completing this process, the IDA. So they would be looking to pull a building permit and commence construction this quarter.
Did you get that, Kevin?
I sure did. So that's helpful. Thank you.
Okay, Genevieve, the footprint of the 5 megawatt solar farm is 31.8 acres,
Correct.
and altogether you're going to be leasing 114 acres.
No, I believe you just leased the area in which the project will be developed.
So, Genevieve, let me jump in because I'm seeing what Gary's seeing as far as text. The total of those 2 parcels is 114.3 acres. They will lease 31.8 acres, which crosses across these 2 parcels. So the leased area is
The
crosses 2
remaining
tax
property is
parcels.
going to be
Regular tax.
regular
Yeah,
tax.
and there's a mobile home at least on the property, maybe 2, on the 2 different parcels. But so the rest of it, any improvements, structures, houses, and the rest of the land will all be taxed at normal rate.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just a little bit different because it's across 2 tax parcels, but same owner and 1 lease.
All right. Any?
This is Kevin. I'm sorry, Gary.
No.
If construction, this is for Genevieve, I guess. If construction does commence in Q3 of 22, what is the project length? And I'm trying to just back into a pilot payment start date. Probably, based on the timing, we'll probably end up deferring this until the 2024 tax year, and then so the company would end up probably paying tax on that 31.8 acres for generating and producing electricity. But
That's
trying to get a sense of how long the process is going to take.
Yeah, so typically, these facilities can take anywhere from 3 to 6 months to construct. So I think we probably would be bumping to finishing construction and being fully operational by Q2, end of Q2 2023, which to your point will lead us to probably be into the 2024 taxable year for our pilot unit.
Yeah, so in order to get that, the full benefit of your the financial benefits being conferred, it may result in paying 100% of the, the value on the 31.8 acres, but I'm gonna guess that the assessor won't have it fully assessed for a solar project until after the taxable status date in 23, which would then become effective in 24. So that I'm clear on that now. Thank you.
Does any of the board members have any questions for Genevieve on the project? Genevieve, did you have any more comments or anything you'd like to share with the board?
No, we just appreciate your attention and review of this project and willingness to grant the incentives and look forward to working with you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we have a few resolutions we have to take care of. First is the seeker resolution. Can I get a motion and a second on the seeker?
Assuming the town of New Haven is the lead agency.
Yes, down with New Haven's lead agency, yeah.
I'll make the motion.
Morris makes that motion.
I'll second more.
Okay, motion by Morris Cervello, seconded by Nick Canale on the seeker resolution. Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Carried. Okay, the inducement resolution. Do I have a motion and a second on the inducement?
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Len Schick, seconded by Tim Stahl on the inducement resolution. Any questions or comments on the inducement? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Carried.
Yeah.
The pilot resolution, do I have a motion and a second on the pilot resolution?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion by Tim Stahl, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Len Schick. Any questions or comments on the pilot resolution? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The pilot is carried. Okay, the final approving resolution. Can I get a motion and a second on the final approving resolution, please?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion by Tim Stahl, seconded by
I'll second.
Nick Canale. Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Carried. Okay. Genevieve, thank you very much. You're welcome to stay on the line and listen to the meeting, but good luck, and we're looking forward to the solar project.
Great, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Have a great day, everyone.
You too. Okay, now Hawthorne Holdings LLC.
Mike, do you want to take this one? or-
Yeah, I'll take this real quick. Highland Animal Hospital project. As you recall, on a number of occasions recently, due to escalating and cost and things of that nature, we've done adjustments in terms of the sales tax, maybe not in the mortgage tax, but in terms of the sales tax for the water park project and a few other projects. In this case, we haven't closed on the Highland Animal Hospital. They're-
But we haven't closed it soon. But
yeah. But we will be closing hopefully in the next 30 days or so. And they have formally requested, and we got a copy of the letter, to bump up the level of the sales tax and the mortgage tax because of escalating cost in doing the project and also in major modifications in what they are going to do relative to equipment that was not recognized fully in their first application. Overall, in total project costs, the increase in the project costs from the original application and what it is today has been an increase of 55%. Now, that is divided or split between construction costs has gone up 30%. Equipment costs, because they underestimated what they were going to do, and now they're deciding on buying everything up front now for equipment as opposed to buying it piecemeal and spreading it out over a couple of years, went up about close to 300%. So that's for the increase. Making this adjustment before we close will make it clean and good project, and they're something that's been going on for a good while now, and they are very thankful for the assistance that the IDA is providing relative to the filing agreement and the sales tax exemption and the mortgage tax exemption. Overall, it's about $100,000 increase in benefits. Yeah.
What's the timeline for this? I'm looking at
They're
for construction.
They're ready. The construction will probably, we got to close first. We're closing with the bank and the IDA. It's pretty much the same time, and hopefully that will be next month.
Raleigh has equipment on site. They're mobilized already, waiting for the financing. Yeah. I think they've even ordered some foundation materials at this point.
That's great.
Yeah, we were trying to get it coordinated to close like this week, I think, right, Kevin? But there were a couple of issues that mostly driven by the bank, I think.
Well, this was the main delay, actually, to get this done before closing.
Yeah.
And going through the various scenarios with Barclay Damon, this was the best, since we had a meeting scheduled this week anyway. So I think, because we're planning now to close before the bank, by a matter of only a few weeks, but only to be able to get the sales tax exemption to them more quickly, so they can order materials.
Sure.
Particularly for the footings.
This is one frustrating project because this was a CFA project. It actually was a CFA project twice because it was denied the first time. It was modified and submitted a second time. And they were looking for about $400,000 in grant money for this project. It was denied the second time too. By the state's definition, they defined it as a retail project.
Doesn't seem like a retail project to me.
Well, you can do retail projects. An IDA can do them too if it's meeting a underserved need in the area, and we looked at the urgent care component of this is greatly underserved, but the wise guys in Albany didn't agree with that.
The state tends to have a definition of if it's not manufacturing, it's retail. I mean, they're very strange about what they consider retail. Anything where you're interfacing directly with the public.
Doctors, even human doctors' offices are considered retail.
Yes, because they're dealing directly with the public, and it's not, you're not making something for
A bank is retail.
Restaurant.
But anyway,
That is what makes sense.
these additional benefits, they're making up some of that significant loss of what they anticipated originally as potential funding. So.
Okay.
Okay, so Hawthorne Holdings, so I guess I'm looking for a motion for the exemption increase request.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Tim Stahl, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Morris, seconds it.
Second by Morris Sovello. Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Morris?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Any opposed? Motion is carried. Okay, now we're down to the Lake Ontario Ready
Yeah,
local match grant.
here's something to shake the cobwebs off. Back in 2020, in November, the IDA approved. November of 2020, the IDA approved funding some grants through Operation Oswego County. So the IDA provided the funding to Operation Oswego County. Operation Oswego County made commitment letters for grants, and this was the local match for the 2019 Ready Resiliency. What it says there, Lake Ontario Resiliency and Economic Development Initiative, which was the specific part of it was monies from the state to help fund projects to make businesses more resilient along the lakeshore. And there was a requirement, as you might recall, the 5% local match. A lot of discussion about this, not necessarily in these meetings, but with staff about how to accomplish that 5% match, even with the county and other municipalities where they couldn't do it actually by law. They can't provide even in-kind services to a private business. So we came up with this grant program, and we awarded 5. We made a commitment. The Operation Oswego County, with support of the IDA, has made 5 commitment letters or 5 commitments to 5 different projects across really 4 different businesses. One of those businesses was 2 projects approved by the state. So companies like Greenpoint Marina and Mobile Home Park, Selkirk Lighthouse, Kimmel's Catfish Creek, and Burke Goodnuff's Marina there up near the county line in the north. So the update really is, one, a reminder this program is still open. We have open commitment letters for those 5 projects, but the good news for that business is that Greenpoint has completed their projects. So they got complete funding from the state. We have full documentation in the file. They were awarded $200,000 times 2, so a total of $400,000 from the state. And we then, in turn, based on the prior approvals and the commitment letters that Operation Oswego County issued, we've now paid 2 times $10,000 grant money, which was it's 5% of the state money. So state money was $200,000. The grant in this case was 5% of that, which was $10,000. Incidentally, those were the 2 largest grants in this approval. The original total, I guess I don't have it totaled up, was about $34,000.
35,
Yeah.
75.
Okay. So,
Yeah, just to add to that is the nice thing about the program is that it works similar to the state stuff. The money's always reimbursement money, so you have to complete the project, you have to do it according to the plan that was put together with the state. So the way we wrote our commitment letters is that they can't draw our funding until they're able to draw the funding from the state. So that's why it's taken so long, is because the state takes so long to draw down the funding. You know, ours is sort of tied to that as well. But we wanted to make sure the projects were done properly, or so we weren't giving them money for a project that wasn't done to the state standards.
So if I'm correct, this was a project was initiated by the state as a response to the flooding along the lakeshore?
yeah, particularly the 2019 flooding, yeah.
To address
Yeah.
resiliency
They got
related to
they got 200,000. They got
Correct.
200,000 for 2 different projects. One was a mobile home park, and the other was a marina.
Great,
But yeah.
good for them.
And we know that the Selkirk Lighthouse has plans to finalize their work and hopefully get the state money, and that in turn our award, which was only for that project, was $5,230. We don't believe the other 2 projects are being completed or be able to complete it to the state standards to be able to get the state funding, therefore we won't fund. So,
But combined, I mean, the 2 Greenpoint projects, it was well over $1 million. The 2 projects combined.
You spent a lot of their own money.
$1 million.
Yeah, you can only get a certain.
oh yeah, I mean they're way over these numbers. Any numbers we have, they're close to $2 million probably.
200,000 was the cap you can get from the state.
Yeah,
It's like a
it was.
50% matching up to 200, and they exceeded that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, but we had regional meetings up here at Sheldon Hall, and all the business owners,
That's right.
municipalities and everything came to it. They had a board they appointed to review anybody that was looking to get financing. And some of them were accepted, not all of them were. And so they narrowed it down to this point.
Yeah, unfortunately, some of the projects were kind of disqualified because they did the work themselves and they did stuff that wouldn't have been to state level, so they just didn't bother
Mhm.
going to get money from the state because they wouldn't have made it.
And there's a few of them that I know of that just refused the money, which I couldn't understand, but.
I know the port got a significant chunk of money to do stuff over there at the port, I believe. And then some of the land that they have, yeah, or I believe the city may have gotten some as well, too, for different
City of
possibilities.
Oswego secured 12.6 million, and that's what is being used to improve Wright's Landing and the international marina. We're turning into the Cahill International Pier. Basically, we're just raising the land, so to speak, around the marina to accommodate increased lake levels. So that's 12.6, and I don't know, the overall project by the time we're done in the city of Oswego will probably be approaching closer to $15-16 million. So,
Two pots of money. One was municipal ready money, and then the other one was business ready money, and this is the business one.
Yeah, actually, three, because there was a homeowner.
So this is
Just
just,
go look at some houses along Lake Ontario and wonder why they
It's
needed it,
different
but
information, it's already, the money's already been drawn, it's already been paid.
we okayed the ready grant, the total
Yeah,
grant.
the total amount and the 5 projects.
Right.
And the Economic Development Fund, the pilot EDF fund, will be adjusted for that $20,000 down to $15,975, of which we may never be asked to supply this fund for those other projects. And in that case, then that will go away on the EDF as well.
Okay, any other questions on this update on the local matching grant for the Ready program?
I just want to again thank this board and Operation Sioux County for being willing to look at doing things a little bit different way and to help out our local businesses. It was a big help with the people who needed it. It was nice for us to partner at that time, so I just appreciate it.
Okay, number 9.
Executive session, Gary, I think, right?
Oh, we are in executive. Okay, so I have a motion and a second to go into executive session, please.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Tim Stahl, seconded by Gary Toth.
Morris.
And Kevin, could you detail the reasons we're going into executive session, please?
sure. It will be primarily to discuss the financial history of a particular person or corporation in accordance with Public Officers Law Section 105.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. So we have a motion,
Sure.
and a second.
Logistically, Kevin, do I just stay on this line, or is there another number?
Yeah, Kevin, you can stay on that line.
Okay, great, thanks. Sorry, Gary.
No, all right. Okay, so we have a motion and a
Yes,
second,
Morris. Yep. Excuse me.
to go into executive session at what time, Lynn?
10:05.
10:05. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're in executive session now.
One moment. Okay, we're live again.
58.
I'll make a motion to come out of executive session.
Okay, motion by Nick Canali to come out of executive session. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by
More
Tim.
seconds.
Seconded by Tim Stahl. At what time, Len?
10:58.
At 10:58. All those in favor?
Aye.
Alright,
Opposed? Okay, we're out of executive session. Okay, we do have some items to take care of that need our attention that we discuss under executive session. The first one is about ASA Valley, New York Solar, the consent to mortgage. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by
Morris,
Nick Canali, seconded by Morris Cirbello. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Alright.
Opposed?
alright.
Carry. Okay, the next one is Fairway Billiards, a micro enterprise loan of $25,000. Can I have a
I'll
motion?
move it.
Motion by Len Schick. Do I have a second?
So,
More seconds.
Seconded by Morris Cirbello. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Alright,
Those opposed? Carried. And lastly, the delinquent loan report. Do I have a motion on the delinquent loan report? As stated by Kevin
Morris,
Clementine.
I'll second one.
Motion by Morris Cirbello, seconded by Nick Canali. Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 You gotta go back and get the resignation.
No, not yet. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Carried. Okay, is there anything else that need to be discussed,
I do have a question.
or other business, I should say?
Yeah, is this board going to have the opportunity to interview the final selected candidates? I'm assuming there'll be more than one to replace Mike.
Kevin, are you clear on that?
Sure, Nick, I can, yes, yes, that is the intention, and it's the intention all along to, Nick is actually on the committee,
But I understand.
as the IDA representative, but the entire, the committee is agreed, and Operation Oswego County, that really participation from the IDA board, and if it's, Len, if you would like to be part of that, or anybody, I mean, the intention is once we get I think ideally three finalists, and we bring them into town and meet with them and have a meal with them and show them around and have them meet the various stakeholders, and so that, we are going to welcome and really want that participation from everyone, including the IDA.
Yeah, that was my
But we're
question.
not quite there yet.
I mean, no, I understand it, yeah. I mean, that was my question, because, I've been involved in a number of hiring and interviewing school board, church pastors and stuff, and we've always had that, the final 2 or 3 candidates meet with the various groups that were involved. And so I was just questioning whether the final 3 would meet with the IDA board.
I don't know that there would be a formal meeting of the board and then each candidate comes in and meets with us, but they're, like Kevin said, the way that the headhunting firm that we hired goes about it is they bring the candidates in, and then there's a couple of different scenarios where they're brought around town to see different sites, maybe with current staff or whatever might be the case, and then we have another more larger group that meets with them and has some lunch or dinner or something like that.
Yeah, let me just say, I mean, when I was on the school board and we hired a new superintendent, the final 2 or 3 candidates come in and met with various school groups,
Okay.
Teachers Association,
Yep.
PTAs. I mean, they actually sat down, and the same thing with church. When we were hiring a new pastor, the pastor came in and met with this group of people, this group of people, and they had time to, ask questions and get to know the people. Not that
I don't
they,
see why we couldn't set that up.
yeah, I mean, I found that successful.
Yeah, no, that is really the intention.
Yeah, I found that successful. Not that the groups have really a large say in it, but I mean, you know, their input is valuable, but they don't have the final say.
Well, to have
Exactly.
the person sit down with the board and have the people that are also on the committee present for the interaction and the questions and everything else, and see how that person responds to that situation, I think is hugely beneficial.
Well, it's
So,
yeah, it's been my experience. Like I said, I've been through several. So
okay.
okay, thanks.
Okay,
Jerry?
just one couple things, Morris, I want to get taken care of. First of all, I want to do, I want to set the next meeting date.
Just to be clear, Tim's on the committee too.
Yes, Jim. I understand that, but you're the IDA rep.
He's a county rep.
It was-
Yeah, he's in the county.
Multi-hat.
Kevin,
Different hat.
Caracoli, about the end of August.
Kevin, do you have any input on when you think we should be holding the next meeting? Caracoli?
Well, I think, to be safe with the seeker issues, unfortunately, it's not the best timing, the end of August, but I think you've got to allow for a good, I would say, ideally 30 days, but that gets us into the last week of August, the 29th, 30th, and 1st, and then you're into September 1st and 2nd, which prefer to avoid those 2 dates personally, but
I won't be available either the 1st or the 2nd.
How about
31st.
Wednesday, August the 31st
I should be able to do
in the morning,
good for me. Yep, good for me.
9 o'clock?
or 8 o'clock, depending on what the board wants to do.
9.
that. Works for me.
Yeah, he's,
8 o'clock is tough.
I'd rather have 11. But
okay,
Can't get the muffins.
Gotta leave Cleveland before the sun's up.
There's a lot set up here.
okay, so Wednesday, August 31st at 9 o'clock, next meeting?
Perfect.
Okay. And next,
Okay.
something that we need to do, but I'm not doing it with a heavy heart. We have a letter of resignation from Morris Sorbello from the IDA board. Morris, you've had about 25 years of service now. You come out in 98.
Well, I loved every one of it, and every bit of it, and the greatest board. I think you guys do a great job. Believe me, I still stay on if I can do it by phone. I just felt that possibly, if you wanted a live body there right now, I'm not in that position, but I got to give some time to my wife and, to be down and do a few things here, and that's why I'm here. But I've enjoyed every minute of it, and I'll do anything I can to help you. You know that. In fact, I was just going to give a very fast, the county airport, I know I gave this call on the last fence, but they've completed their hangars, the building, the reception building is open and working, and they are doing a great job out there. So the county airport is functioning to service people, and to my knowledge, I checked in my phone. And anything I can ever do to help you people, I will do. And go anywhere I can, or help in any way I can.
Morris, I gotta say, you weren't able to be here for OOC's annual meeting, but OOC did recognize the airport with its Ally Award for all of the progress that has been made at the county airport. So they got their little plaque to help cover up a dirty spot on the wall.
Okay, good deal. I just wanted to make sure, and as right now, I was a member, I'm checking in for this Hancock Airport too. But these are things I'm trying to, I hope to be up there after the first of the year. We're thinking about coming up and being up there more. But anyways, all I can say is, gentlemen, I love you all. You're great people, a wonderful organization, and I will talk to you certainly. Wish you all the best.
Thank you, Morris. So
Thank
I
you,
guess
Morris.
I will entertain a motion to accept the letter of resignation by Morris Sorbello.
with regrets. I would move it.
Okay, with regrets, I'll second it. Motion by Len Schick, seconded by Gary Toth. Any comments or questions? The only comment I got to say, Morris, is you're always welcome by phone, by presence, or anything in our meetings.
Thank you.
All
Thank you
those,
also so much for
all those in
great
favor?
organization.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? The letter is accepted. Morris, again,
Thank you.
you're always welcome.
What's that?
Thank you
Thanks,
very
Morris.
much, all of you.
Kevin, do you have a
Thank you.
pet bird?
Where's that? The birds opposing.
Okay, any other business?
Where's that coming from?
It's from Kevin Caracoli's home.
Is this
Oh, that's me. Sorry. Yeah.
Do you have a parent?
The bird,
Okay.
the birds are okay. They're not chiming in on this meeting.
Okay, so I guess I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Tim
Second.
Stahl, seconded by Nick Canali. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Carried.
11:09.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And folks, I know the meeting is adjourned, but I want to personally thank you for allowing me to participate by phone. I will share, not that I was